This investment Guru's tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight.
Well said! Well said! Well said!
SEBI and NSE advise consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.
Presented by National Stock Exchange. Co-presented by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Good morning. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Aabha Bakaya. Let's take you through the headlines this morning. A 5-day mega AI impact summit beginning today in the capital. Officials expect massive investment announcements in data centers and other tech areas. The summit brings financiers, startups, AI leaders, and policymakers in the same room. Sundar Pichai, Demis Hassabis, Sam Altman, and Anthropic's Dario Amore to headline the event. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says trade deals are a structural shift for the economy, opening big markets, integrating India with global supply chains, and putting MSMEs at the heart of exports. He adds that the massive capital spending plans in the budget will cut costs and create long-term jobs, but asks the private sector to step up R&D and productivity. Calls AI infrastructure and future-ready manufacturing the next growth engine. Asian markets in the red again as Japan's growth slows to just 0.1% in October to December. Tech stocks again lead the fall with AI fears gripping investors. Oil holds steady and gold falters as reports cite Iran as saying that potential energy, mining and aircraft deals on the table in talks with the US. Bharat Electronics gets approval to manufacture, supply and repair the Hammer missile system in a JV with French defense company Safran. The tie-up, announced just ahead of French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron's India visit, is a major Make in India boost and will supply top-of-the-line missiles to the Air Force and the Navy. RBI tightens lending norms for stockbrokers. All bank credit to capital market intermediaries must now be fully secured. No partial guarantees allowed. For every 100 rupee loan, 100 rupee collateral is also mandatory. Bank guarantees to carry 50% cover, 25% in cash. Broking stocks will be in focus today. All right, we of course continue to track all that action on precious metals for you as well. Let's first bring that up because they're slipping in trade. MCX gold down 1,200. Gold is now at 1.5 lakh per 10 grams. Silver tumbling 8,000. Remember, silver of course has been far more volatile, and today it's at 2.37 lakh per kilo. So opening trades there for you, and we're today seeing volatility and precious metals slipping in trade. And MCX gold down 1,200 and silver tumbling 8,000. So clearly, this is some kind of recalibration of the prices on precious metals, not really in line currently with any kind of global triggers that we are noticing. Shailendra Bhatnagar and Avinash Gorakhshakar joining us this morning. Gentlemen, good to have you with us. The IT rout is continuing, and how? So, Shail, first, if we take a look at the setup, Asia quiet this morning, tumbling on some of that data from Japan, and IT fears continuing there as well. We've already seen the rout on Wall Street. What's in store for us today?
A very good morning to you, Aabha. Warm welcome to Avinashji and to all our viewers. Well, it has to be stock specific. You need to look at the auto index, the FMCG index, and Aabha. It's the manufacturing space which is coming up very, very strongly on charts, you know, counters like ABB, counters like Engineers India. So that's a space that needs to be tracked in great detail, lot of value and a lot of margin of safety in terms of price. So look at third quarter earnings and skim through the data in the manufacturing space. As for Nifty and Bank Nifty, well, Bank Nifty is stronger than Nifty. Nifty, as you very rightly mentioned, hit by the IT index, but I think there's some sensible buying happening in Infosys. More on that a little later. Aabha.
All right, Avinash, good morning. What's the setup looking like? What are you counting on when it comes to the direction of the index or the broader markets? We've seen that route. We've seen sentiment a little eroded. Last week, we saw pressure across the board, even in broader markets.
Yeah, good morning, Aabha. Good morning, Shell. I think the earnings season has now more or less ended, and I think now the action would be on what kind of developments happen on the global front. As Shell was mentioning, the manufacturing side, specifically the auto components, the capital good players, hospitality, hospitals, these are spaces where we feel there's a lot of value. And I think in this market, clearly it's going to be a stock specific approach because broadly, I think one good part is that the India-US trade deal has been done. So, the markets are now expecting that post-March, April, we could see, the exporting companies also taking off, specifically, sectors like pharma, textiles, auto components, chemicals. So I think, the IT crash is something which I think needs to be looked into. I think clearly AI is going to be a differentiator and a kind of a disruptor now. But I think it doesn't mean that all these companies like TCS, HCL Tech, Infosys, Persistent are going to go out of business. What is going to happen is there's going to be a lot of upskilling, and I think in fact my sense is that their productivity could improve by 25-30% by the use of AI. So I think it's going to be a challenging time, but I think the news in the market is that everything will go bad, and that's why we have seen heavy sell-offs in stocks like TCS. In fact, my view is, Aabha, TCS could even look at a buyback, considering that there's been a very big damage in the stock price. So things can change overnight. But I think clearly it's a stock pickers market, and I think broadly the index is going to remain in a small range. So better to stick with a stock specific strategy.
All right, and we'll get to those specific stocks just after market opening as well. Also, just to mark, the Reserve Bank of India has tightened lending norms for stockbrokers. So in a major move aimed at curbing leverage in the capital markets, from April 1st, all bank funding to brokers must be fully secured. So no partial or unsecured guarantees will be allowed, and bank guarantees issued in favor of exchanges and clearing corporations will now require a minimum 50% collateral with at least 25% in cash. Equity shares accepted as collateral will attract a minimum 40% haircut, and lenders must monitor collateral on an ongoing basis with mandatory margin call provisions. The move is expected to reduce leverage, increase capital blockage for brokers, and also push up bank guaranteed costs. So broking firms will be in focus this morning. All right, opening bell on your screen. And let's take a look at the ticks that are coming in right now. And on the index itself, we've got a downtick coming in as we speak. Nifty down about 2.3%. No major change from the trend we've been observing last week, and also following through with the weakness across global markets on the back of AI worries. That's where we're really at this point of time. Nifty IT just marginally higher, but just flat really in trade today. We've got auto also down. Let's pull up the gainers and losers and see in terms of individual stocks where all the action is this morning, and see if there's any kind of trend or bright spots that are emerging as well. TCS, Infi, so IT just about 0.5% higher. Remember, it's been a mega rout last week, so not to read too much into that, but stability this morning. HDFC Bank, ITC, Power Grid, some of the gainers on the downside. Let's pull up some of the names that are putting pressure on the index as well. And then I also want to bring up some earnings, because maybe that's where some of the action is. Let's pull up an Ola, for example, and the stock is actually, revenue has halved, losses remain extremely high. Let's pull up an Ola for you this morning and see where it's at. We've also got a whole host of other names on the back of earnings. Ola's down about 6% right now. Lot of pain coming in on that one. We've got other earnings too. GMR Airports, revenue up 50%. Let's see if that one's reacting. We've got Manappuram Finance with the RBI approving capital for acquiring up to a 41.7% stake. So GMR is up 4% on earnings this morning. Let's pull up Manappuram for you as well. That's just down about 1%, no major move. Torrent Pharma results in line. We've got the US business up 12%. Let's pull up a Torrent. Let's pull up some other earnings. Fortis Healthcare, for example, and Narayana Health, both very different earnings. Torrent Pharma's up on earnings, 4%. Fortis saw decent revenues, up 19.4, margin up 21% as well. No move there, pretty much in line. Narayana Health profit was down 34%, and margin also down about 600 bips. So down about 1.5% in trade so far. Shell, what are you spotting on opening?
Well, Aabha, I'm looking at a sea of red. And of course, looking at two stocks, one that you've already marked, which is Torrent Pharma, the other is Ingenious India. Again, earnings led, but again, it's the manufacturing space that's doing extremely well. Banks, especially the private sector, are trying to help the Nifty on its way up. Look at HDFC Bank days high, 909.90. ICICI Bank days high. Kotak showing through strength, and of course Axis and ICICI pulling up the index. So this is a sector which is balancing the Nifty against all the pain that it is seeing, and of course Infosys TCS pain continues, but again one has to be very, very cautious going short at current levels, and one has to be a little more optimistic in life looking at the longer window. What Avinash mentioned was really correct. They are not going out of business.
Yeah.
They are very clean managements, no debt, huge cash reserves. So something is in the offing.
All right. I just want to pull up the capital market stocks and Shall, we were marking this earlier on RBI's new norms for brokerages, and look at the capital market stocks. Oh my God, BSE is down 9% this morning, complete hammering coming in there, and it's likely to be these new norms that are shaking up the indices here. MCX is down 6% right now. We've got Angel One broking down 6.5%. So we've got that fear settling in across the board when it comes to that reaction on those norms. Let me just run you through those again, and then I'll come to Avinash on this. But essentially, the RBI has tightened lending norms for stockbrokers to curb leverage in the capital markets, and it goes into effect from 1st of April. Avinash, let me bring you in on this and get your reaction to the move. Do you think this is a knee-jerk reaction from brokerages, or would you be looking more closely at the kind of cuts that we're seeing today on capital market stocks?
No, Aabha, I think this is a knee-jerk reaction because see, finally getting margins from the brokers is going to make the capital market more safer for investors. And I think, any measure which is used to strengthen the capital market in the longer term is definitely a welcome. My sense is in the short term, the smaller brokers or the smaller brokerages are going to find it more difficult. And there could be a lot of consolidation in the broking sector, typically in the financing sector, which caters to the investors or traders in the markets. So I think larger companies like Novoma, or for that reason Angel One, or typically a Motilal Oswal, definitely if they correct significantly, I think it would be a good decision to actually look at them, because typically what we find is that business does not get impacted. Large clients do understand the new regulatory measures. And I think this dip should be used to accumulate here, in these kind of companies. But yes, in the short term, there could be a little bit of negativity, considering the fact that this is definitely something which market was not expecting. But slightly, I think in the next 2 to 3 days, you could expect a bounce back.
Okay. So Avinash here saying, don't panic when you're looking at those cuts on the screen. But that's really the story this morning, and let's see how we see these stocks recover possibly later in the day. But right now, Angel One, MCX, BSE all down about 6 to 8%. BSE, in fact, close to 10% right now. Nuvama Wealth is down 2-3%. We've got a few of the others also in the red this morning as the markets react to those new norms. All right, on the earnings front as well, Avinash, let's get a view from you on any specific stocks that you're tracking. I want to bring up Ola. I'm not sure if you're looking at that one specifically, Avinash, but there are a lot of investors who have been watching the stock, and it's just been weakening constantly. In fact, now we're seeing revenues halve, losses continue to remain elevated. The stock is down 6%. It is a cause for concern for those invested in Ola.
No, I think, Aabha, you're absolutely right that numbers have been extremely disappointing. I think the markets were expecting some sort of turnaround after the positive management commentary post the Q2 numbers. But I think, numbers have not been coming. And I think the biggest problem for Ola is that they don't have large cash. As of now, the company continues to be loss-making. And I think, if volumes don't grow, I think it's going to be a very big negative surprise for the company. I think already the stock has corrected from 55, 60 odd levels to roughly 28, 29 levels. And I think at these levels, the commentary from the management post the conference call is going to be very important, because markets want to know exactly how much more pain is left. So I think as of now, investors can only hope that probably the fourth quarter could be a kind of a revival quarter, but definitely margins look quite negative. And I think fresh investment, I think, needs to be, put on hold. This is a management which has always given high promises but has not delivered. So I think that is something which is going to go against the stock, until they deliver and perform.
Absolutely. It's going to require a little bit more than commentary now to get the markets to continue to have that conviction when it comes to Ola's trajectory. And they are potentially looking at some kind of stake sale in the battery business. There's possibly something on the anvil. But currently, the stock is just showing, a lot of losses. And really, right, I'm just trying to look up the numbers. Loss of 490 crores in Q3. And its revenue also declined 55% from the previous year and 32% sequentially. So not heartening at all. And we'll wait to hear a little bit more from the management there. Okay, Avinash, from some of the other pockets of action, let's take a look. We've got Orient Tech as well. The stock is up 8%. We've got Torrent Pharma up on earnings. We've got GMR as well. So some of these are actually moving on earnings. Sorry, Orient is actually down 10%, pardon me. That's another one that's reacting really badly to numbers. Again, reporting 14 crore in the quarter ended December against a profit of 12 crore in the previous quarter. Sales down 4%. Some of the earnings that have come out this time, not the likes of an Ola, but some of the others are not so far from market estimates, but have still got hammered. So is this some kind of a re-evaluation that the market is doing, or do we read further into the numbers? Is there some kind of weakness that the market is anticipating in the economy?
See, I think coming specifically to Orient Tech, I think it's a small IT company, and my sense is, AI is going to actually disrupt the smaller players more. I think it won't have any significant impact on larger players like TCS or Infosys. So I think, the markets are a little worried that in case AI comes in, then what could be the kind of strategy from these managements? And again, the profitability jump in the third quarter was on expected lines, but was not something so great. So I think that also added to the disappointment. I think markets were looking at slightly better numbers. And, overall, I think AI is not going to disrupt only the IT sector. It could also impact the manufacturing sectors, because AI is definitely going to be used as a very good tool to cut down costs, to boost the productivity. So, a lot of sectors like automobiles, aviation, I think you could look at a lot of companies in the next 2 to 3 years, which could look at AI as a facilitator. So I think, this is going to be a little challenging period in the short term, till the time the market doesn't realize what is good and what is bad for any specific company. But I think clearly IT is going to be in a problem, at least for the near term.
Okay. So clearly Orient Tech is losing ground on the back of the IT theme, given the earnings are weak but not terrible. But Shell, this is a theme that we've seen play out. The market's rewarding some counters really well, and on the other hand, even a 1% miss here and there on some estimates is leading to a complete hammering. What are you watching? And I see from some of the other bright sparks today, National Fertilizers is jumping in trade, huge volumes as well.
Yes, Aabha, I think these are all, like fireflies that come in. One day the stock is up 9% and then it disappears altogether. But just look at the broader trend. Pharma is doing pretty well. Look at Natco Pharma, 8.5% higher, very, very heavy volumes. Acums, this is also a listed pharma company, fairly recent listing, down up 7% or so. And of course, you have a Torrent Pharma. So the market is defensive. It's going in for predictable earnings where you see an uptick. Look at Torrent Pharma, record high. When was the last time you and I talked about Torrent except on earnings day?
Exactly.
And look at the entire engineering space. Engineers India 2 days ago declared earnings, very, very strong numbers, and you have a 4.7% uptick after Friday's 12% jump. You have a strength coming into GMR reports and JB Chemicals and Pharma 5% higher. So it's Pharma all the way, and of course now PSU banks have started to climb up in sync with the private sector banks. Aabha.
All right, Shell, Avinash, thanks so much for joining us. Definitely some bright spots in the market. National Fertilizer, pharma names, and some of those select banks. What remains weak is, of course, IT and even metals a little weak this morning as they continue to see a little bit of profit booking. Now, India's 5-day Mega AI Impact Summit begins today with expectations of major investment announcements in data centers and emerging tech infrastructure. Global AI leaders, including Sundar Pichai, Demis Hassabis, Sam Altman, and Dario Amore, are set to headline the summit, bringing together policymakers, financiers, startups, and tech innovators. all under one roof. Now, on the sidelines, the spotlight is also on inclusive innovation. On Feb 17th, two key sessions take center stage at the India AI Impact Summit 2026, the Tata AI Sakhi Immersion Program and the Tata Bharat Yuva Hackathon. The Tata AI Sakhi Immersion Program aims to empower rural women through hands-on AI learning and real-world skill building. Designed for women entrepreneurs, artisans and community leaders, the initiative helps participants understand how artificial intelligence can boost productivity, enable self-reliance and unlock new business opportunities. Former Union Minister Smriti Irani will be the chief guest at the event. Another key highlight is the Tata Bharat Yuva Hackathon, a national-scale initiative encouraging youth to build AI-powered solutions for real-world challenges by removing language and coding barriers through voice-first multilingual AI tools. The hackathon aims to democratize innovation across sectors like healthcare, education, agriculture, and civic development. Business Today is the media partner for both initiatives, underscoring a shared commitment to making AI more accessible, inclusive, and future-ready for India.
Presented by National Stock Exchange.
Presented by National Stock Exchange.
Look, this investment guru tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight.
Well said! Well said! Well said!
SEBI and NSE advise consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.
Ladies and gentlemen, we begin the first day of a fresh week in February on almost an even footing. Nifty is flat as flat can be, 25,483. You have the Bank Nifty as also PSU banking shares trying to uplift the market sentiment. But overall, if you see, the mood is in favor of bears as far as the Lal Street is concerned. 810 shares are in the red versus 1561. So it's an easy 1:2. For every one share in the green, there are two that are in the red, which is painful. The market is completely defensive. Pharma stocks are doing pretty well. So traders and investors looking at predictability of earnings and of course the regularity of rising sales. Torrent Pharma, after posting stunning set of numbers, is now at a fresh record high. Look at Natco Pharma, 8% higher. The pharma space is also the top performing index, about 1% higher at 22,390. In gains, the energy index, the auto index and the Nifty Next 50, but slipping lower. IT again, and of course the mid cap select. In terms of volume buzzers, you see new rules determining from the RBI the structure of the capital markets in terms of higher funds required by investors, and therefore the entire capital market space is in pain. BSE, the top traded counter, down 7%, MCX down 5%, Angel One slipping 5% lower. Of course, you have stocks such as Manappuram Finance in the green. You have TCS mildly in the green. So that's value buying happening. But to discuss this and a lot more, let's reach out to Vaishali Parekh. She's our lady luck, and we'll discuss the broader set of markets with her. Vaishali, Nifty is not doing anything, but something that catches your eye or fancy in the private banking space or in the PSU banking space? What looks good?
Good morning. Yes, so I think, yes, nothing much happening in Nifty, but I think for now, 25,400 acts as a good support. So, as far as the banking stocks are concerned, I would be more looking at the financials, especially Shriram Finance, Max Finance. So, these are the stocks which are showing a lot of strength and in an upward territory, showing in spite of all the choppiness, it's holding on to its levels. And I would shift my focus now more to the private sector banks, that is HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. They are technically well placed, so I guess they should participate to let Bank Nifty go higher.
Yes, HDFC Bank is an interesting stock, ladies and gentlemen, to look at from the point of view of bottom fishing. I'll mention a very interesting statistics for all of us who are viewing this show. When you look at the daily chart of HDFC Bank, I'll request the PCR to kindly put it out. The price that you see, 909, is actually below 365-day moving average. The last time you saw this price was somewhere in the vicinity of April 2025. So a lot of pain getting reflected, and at the same time look at the strength that you see in ICICI, look at the strength that you see in Axis Bank, and in particular State Bank of India. So value buying probably in India's highest weighted stock as far as the Nifty and the Bank Nifty is concerned, and now you can see it at day's high. Very well picked, Vaishali. Anything else that catches your fancy in the pharma space? Torrent Pharma, fresh record high.
Torrent Pharma continues to be an outperformer. So also is the case with Zydus, that is doing well. Glenmark is doing well. So these are the stocks which are looking good. But I would also now look at Oro Pharma. We have yet to see some momentum setting in, but level-wise, it looks quite appealing. Already a bullish candle formation, so I think 1140 should act as a support, and if this view goes right, I think this can go towards 1240 levels. So Oro Pharma looks quite well placed as far as a new pick is concerned, but well, the stocks that we mentioned already show bullish trade, and we continue to have a bullish view for the same.
Fair point. Oro Pharma, again, as I have repeatedly said over a long period of time, is India's highest beta stock in the pharma space. It just, the volatility there is amazing. Let's look at something else that's building up. That's Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, and in particular Indian Bank. A view on any one of these that catch your fancy, Vaishali?
Yes. So Canara Bank, there is no damage to the trend, but we have seen this stock retracing and perhaps towards the previous low near 139, 138. So keeping that in mind, if these levels are held on and if we see a good bounce, this can go towards 150 levels. But as far as the other banks are concerned, that is Indian Bank, Bank of Baroda, Indian Bank also, the trend is pretty much held on, and I would say 845 would act as a support, and we can observe a range of 900, 920 in this particular stock.
So that's the space that is buzzing with gains. All around I see green candles. The Nifty PSU banking index retracing from early morning lows, now at 9142, almost days high. Canara Bank 142.26, Bank of Baroda 286.65. All these stocks are bouncing off medium-term lows. What else is buzzing? Let's look at the volume buzzer space. There is activity in Natco Pharma, but I'll refrain from talking about it. This is a very volatile stock, earnings dependent, and those earnings are unpredictable as well. So we leave it there. We'll just show it to you on the screen. What else is buzzing? Would you want to comment on Engineers India, Vaishali? 12% up on Friday and another 4%. This is earnings driven.
Yes, definitely. So technically also very well placed. We saw last week the stock opening with a gap up and it's sustaining very well. So to those who have missed out, one should buy at the levels of 195. And to those who are holding, please continue holding because we see a positional target coming at 240 levels. So buying opportunity would come at around 190, 195 if this stock retraces. But otherwise, we have a bullish view. Technically also, we've seen a good bullish candle and good volume pickup since last 2-3 days. So I think the projected target we are looking at is 235, 240.
On Friday, ladies and gentlemen, the volume was substantial. About 13 crore shares were traded on Engineers India, and that was completely earnings led. The high for Friday was 210, and then the stock closed at about 201. The high for today is 211, so that particular resistance is out, and now at the moment 208. Let's see how it shapes up. This is an interesting stock to watch. Valuations are no consequence because it's a PSU company right there for you in terms of quality purchases, and the most recent high was 256, so there is price safety as well. What's also buzzing, ladies and gentlemen, is Dixon Technologies. Remember, this was beaten black and blue, but some strength coming in below, much below 200 DMA, much below 365 DMA as well. So that's the space that is clicking. In terms of high beta low ticket counters, look no further than GMR Airport. Very strong move coming in, 99.5. Would you want to hold a view on GMR Airports, Vaishali, a swing trade in the making?
Definitely. So I think right now, already a very strong up move coming. So I would say 94, the today's low would act as a stop loss, and this can go towards 104, 105 to start with.
Okay, so that's the view coming in. A view that you may want to offer on Bank Nifty at this point of time, Vaishali?
So I would say Bank Nifty, is relentlessly trying to hold Nifty, and I think today's move also looks quite positive. So I would say for near-term basis, 59,800 should act as a support, and this we will see a near-term hurdle at 60,500. So for intraday purpose, also this should be the level that one can look for.
Fair point. 940 almost, and it's now Axis Bank that's gearing up. Remember, Axis Bank most recently in the early part of February had hit a record high, and it's now reversing from its 20-day moving average price. We've seen 1418, that's on 3rd February, an all-time high, and at the moment at 1338. A recovery after 3 days of fall. A view on Axis, Vaishali?
Yes. So Axis right now, the way it's moving, it's 1338. This too holds on with its trend, and I think it's pretty much at its support. We are seeing a good consolidation. So 1310 should be the near-term support level, and this can go towards 1365 to start with. Then we may have a relook.
Anything in any other space that attracts your attention in the markets on the long or the short side?
So, I mean, in a market like this, I would once again come to safe stocks. So, my choice would be Indus Towers, which has already given a breakout. So, I'm looking at Indus Towers projected target already sustaining above the breakout levels, currently 467. So, now I would say 445 would act as a support, and I would look at a target of 500. Likewise, even Max Healthcare, Fortis, these are the stocks which will not be really affected by all the global scenario what we are seeing. So this would be a safe haven right now, and technically also it suits me as far as the levels are concerned.
Okay. 941, and it's the private sector banking space that's holding up the Nifty. Remember, Vaishali started out with HDFC Bank, and This is the buying support that's coming in. Let me just point out how much HDFC Bank is contributing to the Nifty's total, although Nifty is in the green, and a large percentage of it will be because of HDFC Bank. 46 points. So Nifty is up only 14 points, but HDFC Bank is not only pulling the Nifty up, but it's also balancing out all the negativities. So you see Bank up 1.8% and contributing 46 points. Power Grid contributing 5 points. Axis, NTPC contributing 4 points each, and of course Shriram Finance is something also being mentioned by Vaishali. What's pulling the Nifty down? Well, it's Infosys, Reliance, ICICI Bank, SBI. Remember, ICICI Bank and SBI might reverse during the day because the PSU and the private sector banking indexes are strong. So keep an eye out on these two as well. And of course, all-time highs. I just wanted to see, apart from Torrent Pharma, no, there's only one today. 4301 Torrent Pharma, 5.44% higher. Before we pause for the day, Vaishali, any stocks catching your fancy or anything that attracts your attention?
So as I said, HDFC Bank, I would buy at these levels with 900 as stop loss and look for a target of 950. So this is one of the stocks. And the other stock which I still like is Trent. Trent is showing signs of revival and bounce back. I mean, I think the worst is over. So 4,000 would now act as a support, and I would look at 4,800 as a positional target.
Okay, remember Trent has gone through terrible times. It was one of the most expensive stocks before it hit the Nifty, and then it's more or less been in a sideways to weak trend, actually selling off quite a bit there. Okay, 9:44, we'll wrap it up as far as markets are concerned. A heavy selling pressure in the capital market space because of new RBI norms which mandate investors put in more money as collateral before they take positions. So higher margin collection, which is in the overall benefit of the market, but then these are knee jerks. BSC down 7.2%, MCX down 5.5%, Angel One down 4.4%. What's rising in the market? From day's lows, private sector banks such as HDFC Bank, Axis and Kotak. PSU banks leading the uptick are Indian Bank, Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank. But overall markets seem to be in a sideways to weak space on Monday. Thank you for watching. Stay glued on Business Day Television. There's a lot that's happening today. The AI Summit in Delhi attracting all attention.
Presented by National Stock Exchange.
Look, this investment guru's tips will double your money. Just claim the offer.
Double your money from any random group. Pay attention. Promising double returns, they'll lure you in tight. Unverified groups will send fake tips overnight, emptying your pockets before you can fight.
Visit!
SEBI and NSE advise consult only SEBI registered advisors and make payments only to verified accounts or UPI IDs. An investor awareness initiative by SEBI and NSE.
From how the markets move today to what's setting the stage for tomorrow. From tariffs to taxes,